All right, so a few things to clean up about the administrator that we talked about. It would make sense to refactor this into a method so that we can check on our pages, any page we want throughout the system, whether or not the user is an administrator or not. So I created this little method, a Boolean method with a question mark at the end of it. So I can say things like if is admin, then that will run this method and return true or not if the current user is an administrator. If they're not even logged in, this will return false also. So this returns false if they're not logged in or if they're logged in and not an administrator. So then I can do that inside of my pages. So inside of my rental page here, I can check, is the user an admin? If so, do admin stuff. Otherwise, display the rest of the stuff, right? The easy stuff. So that looks like, well, I just shut my thing down here. So on my rentals index page, let's see if that shows up. Rentals index. And I'm logged in as my Dave No admin, so it's not displaying that H2. I'm not an admin, so let's log out. Log back in again with my administrator guy. And I come back to my rental page. And it says, you're an admin. So that type of if checking I can put throughout pages and display code or not, depending on whether they're administrator or not. So inside of this, I could put a link to my movies page, right? So I could link to my movies path only if they're an administrator. Yeah, probably. If I don't, it'll use this as the path too. But my problem is that I'm now toasted on my proxy again. All right, so here we go. Now I've got my /movies link, and because I didn't add link text, it uses the path as the link text. Scroll down. No, I don't think so. So now I'm in my movies. That should take me to my movies page. It didn't. I don't know why. Good question. We can put in our click text, movies admin. There's probably something in my movies controller that's keeping that. That should work. There it goes. All right, so now I'm an administrator on my movies controller, and I can have all access to that. So that's what I wanted in your page, in your store controller, a link that shows up only if they're an administrator. So if I log out and go to my rental page, it doesn't show the link at all. I can't get to that page. All right? So, wow, we're almost out of time. I don't know if we can do this. We'll see. Let's go and talk about the TinyMCE gem. There's a gem for that. And if nobody understands what I'm talking about, TinyMCE is a JavaScript piece of code that lives in the client that lets me edit text right on the page. Isn't that great? Just using JavaScript, it will create the HTML tags necessary for me to look at this. This one doesn't let me see. Oh, here's the source code. So it actually creates, I did a strong on this build, and it added a strong. I did a bold on that, and it created that for me. So it creates the HTML on the page for me, and there's thousands of lines of code in this JavaScript to do this. This is not an easy task. And they've written it for years, and they've gotten it pretty good. We're now at version 4 here. That's pretty good. So there's a gem for that to integrate that into Rails. So we want to integrate that so that we can have that functionality on our text areas in our controller, in our views. So to do that, typically we're going to follow these instructions. We're going to copy that and put that in our gem file. So we go to our gem file. We're going to add a new gem. So David probably can't do that.
That's usually where the shit is.
I need to then run my bundle command, bundle install. See, it already detected that there were none. And if I click on that, it will do the bundle install too.
You don't have to actually download the
No. It has now downloaded it for me. All right.
So you need internet.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't need to do this config. We can just use the default options. They say it no longer needs to be restarted. That used to be a big issue. We're not going to deal with any of these themes right now. We need to add some things to our assets file. So we need to add one of these to our TinyMCEs. So I'm going to add this to our application.js. And actually, I'm going to do it with a jQuery because we're using that jQuery. So in my assets, application.js, we're going to add to our manifest file the requiring of this TinyMCE jQuery. All right, so I'm just following these steps one at a time. Then I include these on a page-by-page basis, if I need to, anywhere I'm going to use that specific gem. All right, so I need to add that. I need to include these. So let's put that, let's see, in my movies edit would make sense. So I'm going to include my assets. And then in my form is a partial, so I got to go find my form. In my movies form, I need to change my text area field. So wherever I have a text area here, I have to change that line to now style it so that the TinyMCE gem can find that. So let's go see what it tells us to do. For my text area tag, we're going to give it a class and make sure it has a unique ID. All right, so we're going to give it this class. So our description, and we have a class associated with that. So that's all we have to do for that. Then we have to invoke this TinyMCE helper on this page. So I have to call this little bit of ERB somewhere on this page so that it gets loaded. And that should be it. Right, so let's go see if that actually worked. If it not, we'll have to figure it out later. Let's go to movies. Nice, look at that. Couldn't find file. Nice. TinyMCE jQuery. Nice. But it should have, so let's go figure out what happened here. I must have missed a step. These,
Try to restart your server.
yeah, we should. That's always a good idea. Even though they say it doesn't, let's restart our server. When in doubt. Right, Sean?
Your application JS file.
Oh, turbo is there.
Well, that's a RubyMine thing. I'm not sure that actually, I don't go by those all the time. All right, so it looks like it's working. I can go edit these. That's the page that I had it on. And there we go. Ta-da! Isn't that beautiful? So then I can change some of this stuff and boldface some and italicize some. And let's boldface a whole chunk so we can see that. Maybe even put some stuff in there. All right, so that's our TinyMCE gem. When I update that, the actual HTML for this is going to be saved as in the text area, right? So if I update my movie, it saves the actual HTML. And I've already changed this to allow this to be HTML safe. So if you didn't do that, when I'm outputting this on my show page, on my movies show page, you would have to display as HTML safe. See, we already did that. And we did that because of our seeds file. Remember, we added some break tags. So there you go. See how easy that was? I can edit this again. It puts it back into the field for me automatically. I can do all kinds of stuff, center it, right justify this, whatever. They have all kinds of different things that you can format on this. And if you looked at the TinyMCE, there were a lot of tools. I can create new documents, print it. They have some places that let you insert video. You'd have to do some other code for that. Just all kinds of cool stuff. Tables. I can insert a table with stuff in it. Start typing stuff in my table. Isn't that great? So that's all done. This is great for administrators if you were going to write an application for some local pizza place. You don't want to have them come back to you all the time to change their website. Say they got a special this week. If you give them the opportunity, the tools available like this, so that they can add their own pictures and do everything like that, then they don't have to hire you back to do that. And that is on its way to becoming what they call a content management system, because it lets the user control their own content. And if you do that, you should be able to charge more for that website. Content management systems cost more.
Give me a number, Dave. How much more?
Lots more.
$1,000? 10,000?
Between there.
Yes,
between there. I'm not going to commit on video here. All right, isn't that cool? So once I have that installed, if I go to any other place, do I have any? I don't really have anything else. I would probably never do this. I'm not going to usually let users in the comment form itself. I'm not going to let them do this. Oops. So but just to show you that I can do it, I have to give it the class again of TinyMCE. Something like that, yeah.
Don't know if there was a space.
there wasn't. See why I went over there, looked at that. All right, so all I have to do now, once I have it installed, is on every page that I want to have this in my text areas, I just have to give it a class. So now if I go back, go look at my movies. Let's see, it should be there, and it's not. Oh, what else did I miss? I have to include that, right? I have to include the TinyMCE assets. That's not it. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. So I just have to include that somewhere on the page. Much better. I missed something else all again.
But I don't think there's an assets in there, it's just TinyMCE.
You have to have both. MCE assets, and then in my form, I did something else. So I wouldn't spread these all around. I think I had to do this too.
For the purposes of the final, those should only be admin, right? Because it's writing HTML safe in most cases.
Yes.
You trying to say you're not the only one?
There we go.
Yeah.
So we can now let users type HTML, but I wouldn't think this would be very safe. So I probably wouldn't let them do that. But it's up to, depends on your site, right? So you can allow that. See how easy that is to add? All right.